And welcome to the United Stand. David De Gea has come out and said he's dissatisfied with the Manchester United current situation. I love this guy. He knows where this club needs to be. Smash a like because he knows where this club needs to be and he's absolutely spot on. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about the transfer window and whether we should or shouldn't have done things. But also, let's fly straight into this. Stop bloody moaning about the FA Cup draw. I've got mods. George Kyle's moaning about it. It's a nightmare draw. People on Twitter moaning about it. We've been drawn against Chelsea in the FA Cup 5th round. I said an hour before the bloody draw, I wanted Chelsea away. We're conquering London one by one. We've been to Spurs, we beat them. We've been to Arsenal, we sat them down. I wanted Chelsea away. I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to get every big test he can get. He's auditioning for the Manchester United job. I don't want banter Rovers at home at Old Trafford. I want Chelsea away. And then we've beat them. I want the Etihad, the empty had. I want the Man City. That's what I want. I want to play every tough game we can play under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with this squad for two reasons. One, so we can see how good Ole is. And two, so we can see how much work this squad still needs, which is basically what De Gea is saying, which we're talking about in a minute. We're going to be taking your calls as well through the Discord. The link is in the video description if you want to get yourself set up for that, because we'll be doing that in a few minutes. But don't worry, I am confident about this Chelsea game. I am ready for this Chelsea game. I am excited by this season. If somebody said to me, Mourinho's going to get the sack, but it means you're going to have to play Arsenal and Chelsea away in the Cup, I'd have said, give me it, inject it in my veins, because I want it. That is what I want. We've been to the Emirates. We've beaten Arsenal and the French Charlie Austin. Bring on Stamford Bridge and the Belgian Nathan Redmond, because we're ready. We're ready. I'm not bothered. I'm not scared. Of course, anything can happen in football. They could knock us out. I'm not going to be so arrogant as to say we're going to win 3 or 4-0, but I'm bloody up for it. And yeah, of course, Chelsea can beat us, but they could beat us in the final. So fucking what? I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. I want the tough games. I'm fed up of hiding. I'm fed up of hoping for easy draws. I'm fed up of hoping that we'll hit them on a right day. Let's go down, show them what we've got, and if they beat us, then the club and the board are going to have to invest in the summer, aren't they? Bring it on. And as for all this nonsense about, we beat you in the FA Cup final last year, we won't have Phil Jones picking up a winner's medal for his assist. He won't be playing at centre-back anyway. You beat us because Phil Jones handed it to you on a plate. We ain't going to play Phil Jones at Stamford Bridge. So you can sit down with that. And on top of that, you won an FA Cup. We got in the Champions League. You're still in the Amadale Cup. Da-da-da-da. Hashtag deal with it. So I don't know when the game's going to be played, but it won't be played on a Friday night and it won't be played on a Saturday because the FA Cup weekend follows the Champions League and Emmerdale Cup. And Chelsea, just to remind everybody, they will be playing on Thursday night, Chelsea. They'll be playing on the Thursday night before the FA Cup. So whilst we might say we'd like a Friday night game or a Saturday lunchtime game, we won't be able to do that because Chelsea have got to play in the Emmerdale Cup on Thursday. So let me just confirm, we can't play a weekend. We can only play on the Sunday or Monday in the FA Cup because Chelsea, although they beat us in the FA Cup final and we're in the Champions League, they're still playing in the Emmerdale Cup. So it will be a Sunday game, I would have thought, against Chelsea. Big games. I think we'll play PSG, Chelsea in the Cup, and then Liverpool. I think that's what. Bring it on. I want it. This is what I want. Aidan Santis-Teven says, I'm not remotely afraid of Chelsea. Neither have I, and I'm not concerned about it. It is exactly the draw that I wanted. I've been talking about it. I spoke about it at lunchtime. I'm very happy about this. And to all those people who are happy that Neymar's out, well, I said Neymar would miss the games against Manchester United because it's his sister's birthday and he's got to give her his big surprise like he does every 5 years. Well, I don't know whether it's big, but he wants to give her his surprise. So Neymar's not playing. People are celebrating that. Again, I'm a little bit disappointed. Because if we beat PSG, it's like, well, I don't know many PSG fans, and even if I do, I'd just say you're speaking a language I don't understand. But if we do knock PSG out, and I just so happen to find a PSG fan who speaks English living in the Solihull area coming up to me and going, you only beat us because we didn't have Neymar, which is highly unlikely, I would say, you know what, I'd wish he did have Neymar because I don't want excuses. I don't want Doncaster Rovers in the Cup at home. I want Chelsea away. I don't really want to play PSG without Neymar. I want PSG with Neymar because when you beat them, it's like when we beat Arsenal on Friday night. Oh, check. Hold up. We beat you in your own ground. You know, I know this talk of it being renamed the Jesse Lingard ground, but it's still Arsenal's home ground. And So there's no excuses. There's no excuses, and I don't want any. Nicholas P, can you do a stadium walk around of Stamford Bridge 2 and show us their legend statues? It helps with the banter. Mate, it's already on the download. Don't worry, that is already sorted the minute I saw it coming out. The Discord link is in the video description, by the way, or it should be, and it is. So if you want to get yourself set up there, we'll be taking calls from them in a moment's time. But I just want to start off with, there's a few things you might want to talk about. You might want to talk about the FA Cup draw. Some people think it's rigged. Some people are moaning about it. I can't be doing with that that mentality. I really, really can't be doing with that at all. So, but what I would say is I absolutely, title of the show, Man United stars demand more from the club, and De Gea demands more specifically. I absolutely loved what David De Gea said, what he said to Sky Sports, and it's along these lines. I don't need to listen to it. I already know what he said, but basically what he said is, it's clearly a great run of results for Manchester United, but we are still outside of the top six. But we are still outside of the Champions League places, and we're very far from winning the Premier League. We're happy with the wins, but we aren't satisfied with the overall situation. This is a club that should be fighting for the title, but we are gaining in confidence, and we are going to try to achieve as much as possible from the rest of the season, winning games, hopefully getting into the Champions League places and doing well in the competitions. It's impossible to win the Premier League. It was what we wanted before we began the season. This is a club that needs to win trophies. We want to get back into the Champions League places, which will be a difficult objective, but we have managed to reduce the points deficit quite a bit. We will fight until the end, and if we stay in form that we're in, we will win matches. And I think, look, I absolutely love that from David De Gea, because it's almost like what I've been saying, really, which is that what Manchester United to do. Here we go. Let me just answer this first. United Focus says, you got to be worried, Mark. Hazard is the best in the Prem. I ain't worried. I'm not worried at all. I'm not. He's not the best in the Premier League anyway. He's behind Salah and he's behind De Bruyne, and that is facts, because Hazard wasn't good that last season, and Salah and De Bruyne were, and Salah's been better than him this season. So, and I think Pogba's in better form than Hazard. I ain't worried about Hazard. He's a good player. But Ned Flanders says, I'm a Chelsea fan. Bring it on. Well, you know what? Same story here. Bring it on. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I can't wait. There's no fear in me at all about playing Chelsea. But going back to what I was saying about David De Gea, this is the mentality I have, and this is the mentality I think many of you have. We are on a great run. That's what De Gea says. We're on a great run, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. And that would be the question I want people to call in and in the live comments talk about, really, which I'll give you in a moment. But De Gea is right. He is absolutely right. This side is doing very well, but it's a million miles from where we want to be. We don't want to be messing around in the gutter with Arsenal and Chelsea and Spurs. We want to be fighting for the title with Liverpool and Man City, and we're nowhere near it. And De Gea is the best goalkeeper in the world. So when I read between the lines of that, because this is a man who wants to sign a new contract, I'm filled with even more happiness and positivity than I have been over the last few weeks, which is a lot of positivity, because De Gea is going to be signing a new contract, and he's going to be saying those words. I ain't signing this until I get some bloody clear direction about whether this club's going to be fighting for Premier League titles. Because if it's not, what's the point of me saying it? And I think this is beyond Ollie. Ollie's doing a great job, like I said at lunchtime. This is about the board. This is about we should be challenging for Premier League titles. That squad's not good enough to win a Premier League title. It isn't. I don't care what anybody says, and I love this club to the end of the earth. But I do not believe it is good enough to win a title. No way. And you can say we can get by with Bailly and Lindelof and Shaw and Young, and De Gea's a great goalkeeper, and that midfield three and the front three. I tell you what, you're going to have to be a little bit more ruthless. That 11 is not good enough to win the title. It's not. It needs 2 or 3 top quality players coming in. Now, you can pick your positions, but it needs 2 or 3 top quality players coming in. Not good, top quality. And I think that's what De Gea is saying, and that fills me with a lot of confidence, because he knows what we know. We're on a great run at the moment, but why were we not? It's not all about Mourinho. I mean, Mourinho was terrible, but some of our signings, some of our squad, they just ain't good enough, and I think that's really important as well. Also, I just wanted to bring something in. I was talking to Zed Jamie about this before I went live. If you are one of those people who says, "Oh, we didn't need to sign anybody in the January transfer window, Mark, because we don't know who our manager is at the moment, and you can't make signings that maybe a different manager doesn't want," well, we've got something for you. We've got a little something for you, and that is this: if you can't sign players because you don't know who your manager's going to be in the summer, how can you give people new contracts? Why would you give Phil Jones a new contract or Ashley Young? Because what if your new manager doesn't want them? It works both ways. And actually, let's just face it, it's the board sitting on a pot of gold as per usual because they don't want to spend money. The only angle I would say that sort of maybe gives us reason not to spend money in this January is that it's very difficult to sign players in January. Of course it is. I accept that. And to be honest with you, most of the teams signing players in January are teams that are in trouble. And I suppose we were in a certain amount of trouble. And the players that they buy are bought for a reason. Like Alexis Sanchez was bought because Arsenal were going to lose him for nothing in the summer, so they wanted something. Van Dijk was bought by Liverpool, yes, for a lot of money, but Van Dijk wasn't playing much for Southampton. He'd almost gone on strike, so they needed to cash in. So, yeah, there's got to be a reason to buy a player. And can you name a player that's out there in world football at the moment that's really in a situation like that, that's coming towards the end of their contract, or has a release clause that we can action now, or has been dropped by their team and they're just looking to offload? There's not really anybody like that. Certainly not Koulibaly, Bergwijn, Manolas, Barella. They're not in those sort of situations. So I can sort of understand that. However, I do think if you offer the right money, they would come. Recap, please. I just logged in, says Roberto Zoo. I tell you what you could do, Roberto. You could just go back to the start of the video and not waste 3,900 people's time by me recapping and going over the same thing again. But no. To be polite, we were talking about the FA Cup draw, Chelsea away. I'm very happy. It's what I wanted. Bring it on. De Gea says that we need more. He's happy with what we're doing, but if we want to challenge for titles, we need to do a lot more. And also, what I want to ask, because we're going to go for the first question now, and I want people in the live comments to get on this as well. And hopefully people who are going to call in will have their own things to talk about. But thank you for the contribution, Russell Solomon. What will it take for Manchester United to go from where we are now, 8 wins in a row, 9 wins in a row tomorrow night when we play Burnley? Join me for the watch along. What will it take for this team to become a Premier League title winning team? I want to know what you lot think, because I personally think we're still a long way off. Despite these results, this team under Ollie wouldn't win a title next season. It wouldn't. He needs more investment than that. So yeah, Roberto was only joking. Don't worry about it. FA Cup is a fix, says Roman Emps. Well, I'm happy with the fix. And Umar26 says, get Bale in the summer. God, no. No. Do not get Gareth Bale in the summer. He's having an absolute shit season for Real Madrid. Absolute crap. And I think the doubts that maybe many of us had about Bale, and we thought, he's probably, if he wasn't in Ronaldo's shadow, he'd be a world-class player. He isn't a world-class player. He's very far from being a world-class player. He's miles and miles and miles away from being a world-class player, and he is definitely not what we need in relation to Manchester United at this moment in time. Okay, right, let's have a quick look. Okay, right. I'm going to start taking some of your calls. If you are on Discord, you just need to get yourself in the call queues and await me to come in and start pulling you in, not pulling you off, pulling you in. Let me put myself in there. Voice connected. Right. Okay. Let's see if we can get somebody in on a call straight away. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Yeah. Yep, you're live on the United Stand, pal. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to talk about that. If we want to move forward, we would have to offload Sanchez, Lukaku because of their wage bill, and even Mata.
Yes, if anybody watched the preview at lunchtime, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer basically saying that the reason he can't give game time to people like Mason Greenwood is because there are 3 players who are not getting game time in the first team, which is Sanchez, Lukaku and Mata. And I posed that question whether they should be still at the club. So you would get rid of all 3 of those players?
Yeah, because they are on so many wages and they sit on the bench. So what's the point of paying them?
I do agree with you on Sanchez. I mean, he is the biggest played player in the Premier League, and he's either got to be in the starting team or moved off. You can't have a bench player earning that much money.
And even Mata and Lukaku, like Lukaku is on 250k a week, and Rashford is on if Rashford is your first choice striker, it just doesn't make any sense that you pay Lukaku 250k a week and Rashford 150k a week. Rashford won't go on like strike on that because he loves the club. But like other players, Marshall, like he doesn't start. I get paid less from him, so that's a huge worry.
What? Just to ask you a question. What do you think that this current Manchester United team needs to be a Premier League winner next season? Do you think it needs a lot of money, and what specifically do you think they need, or do you think they need nothing?
Lot of money. You mean immediately next season?
Yeah. So to win it next year, what changes would you make to the current team?
Centre back, maybe a right back, and a CDM, a specific CDM like NDD, Kante, that type of CDM.
Someone who's a bit more
And
mobile.
no, who is a destroyer?
Yeah. Bit more aggressive.
And if we're gonna go cheap, you can use Fosu, but there, let's not go there. And a right winger. And I'm not talking we should sign Perisic because he's quite he's aging now. But we should sign a player with the same profile of Perisic, a little bit younger.
Yeah, maybe a Douglas Costa or the PSV guy. What's his name? Lozano or Bergwijn?
Lozano.
Yeah, I think Lozano will be one of the best players in the world in about 3 or 4 years' time, personally.
I'm not sure about that, but he's definitely what we need. He's quick. The thing is, Chongi is quite young at this point of time, so we can't rely on him to perform immediately next season. So and Lozano is like 25 years next summer, so he's going to enter into his peak. So it is the ideal signing for us.
And quickly before I get another caller, what's your thoughts on the Chelsea draw in the FA Cup 5th round? Are you happy with that, or do you see it as a bit of a pain?
Chelsea draw. Oh, I like that.
Confident?
It's a great test for Ole, and Chelsea away also.
Yeah, good. Okay, well, thanks for calling in, pal, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we're going to whiz through a few of these calls tonight. Hello, can you hear me? You're live on the United Stand.
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Are you?
I'm alright, man. Absolutely pleasant.
Good. Was there anything specific you wanted to talk about tonight?
Yeah, the FA Cup draw.
Okay, go ahead.
And I think it's a brilliant draw, actually. And I'm going to call it now. It's going to be Manchester City versus United in the final. If you look at the way Arsenal, Tottenham, a couple of Premier League teams have already dropped out of the race. And yeah, I'm calling it now, man.
I think you're 100% right. I think, to be honest with you, you could say that it's starting to shape up for a Manchester City clean sweep of the English trophies if we're not careful.
Yeah, exactly. And because, you know, I was watching the draw and I was like, okay, so the only team that Manchester City can get is either Newport or Middlesbrough. I'm not sure which one they're going to get, but it makes no difference. And we have Chelsea, and I think we'll beat Chelsea, yeah. So if we beat Chelsea, the only teams that are left are teams which are very easy to go against. I mean, the FA Cup is full of drama. Of course, anything can happen. But if I was a betting man, I would put my mind on a derby final, to be honest. And I think maybe City could nick it.
What about the situation at Manchester United at the moment? Do you think are you concerned or bothered that we haven't not only bought anybody in January, but actually got rid of any players? Because obviously a lot of United fans feel that we do have something called Deadwood FC and we've not moved anybody on. Are you bothered? Do you think it's an issue, or do you think just leave it till the summer?
I think I'm actually happy with the way they've done it because we've got all those players who we talk about as Deadwood and everything, and it's fun and when it's banter and everything. But then when you think about it from a human perspective, I think these players have grown close to each other, and to just separate them midway through the season because the new managers came in might cause a bit of disruptions. And I think I don't know. Personally, I think it's good man management to just keep the whole bunch together. Ole probably knows the few players who will never make it into the squad next season, but just from a human perspective, to just keep the whole united feeling, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I would be happy if Fellaini had left or Valencia, but then looking at the bigger picture, this might actually be a good decision, in my opinion.
Yes, and just going into the game tomorrow, Burnley. I mean, I suppose we know what our midfield three should be. I think most people agree that Lingard, Rashford, and Martial should be the front three. Who do you think we should have at centre back? Would you bring Jones back in? Smalling's fit. Bay did well at the weekend. Who would you play with Lindelof?
It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, Mark. For me, and I know people are on Lindelof now as our best centre back, but for me, Eric Bailly is still our best centre back. He's fast. He's strong. He anticipates the game well. He can play the ball. People underestimate how good he is on the ball. He can play the ball. The only thing that he has, which everyone knows about, is the hot head. He cools himself down, and we have ourselves a world-class centre back, in my opinion. I know Lindelof has been getting the praise because rightly so, because of his gradual improvement, and we saw his downside earlier in the season and everything. But I'm gonna stick my neck out and say I think Eric Bailly is our best centre back, and if Ole can get him to come, I don't want him to really change him, but because I like the toughness where he just wipes a player off the face of the earth, but I want him to just teach him how to calm down the same way he's done it with Rashford in terms of scoring goals. When you're in a goal-scoring position, calm down, put the ball in the back of the net. I think I'd like to see the same with Eric Bailly. Obviously, Solskjaer was not a striker, but if you can do that with Eric Bailly, I think we have ourselves a world-class centre-back, and we wouldn't need Koulibaly because, in my opinion, that's the only difference between the two. Koulibaly is a bit more smarter in going into challenges than Eric Bailly.
I think that's a great point, actually, and it's something I sort of have been thinking about over the last couple of weeks. I mean, I personally think we should have spent 100 million on Koulibaly, but then you're right. If Eric Bailly does fulfil the potential that many of us have spoken about, and you've just spoken about then, well, why would you spend £90 million on a centre-back if you think Bailly and Lindelof are your first choice? You've got Smalling and maybe Jones or Twansibi as your backup. You don't need to spend that money. It can be spent elsewhere.
Exactly, and we've got an aging Ashley Young on the right back. I know we've got Diogo Dalot, but then I think just for him to have competition, we would rather go for a world-class right back, because I think we need a world-class right back get running and going. If, like you said, if we're going to go for the title next season, I'll definitely focus on the right back position. Keep Diogo Dalot challenged, because Ashley Young is not going to have the same season that he's had with us this season, next season, in my opinion. He's going to lose his legs. Age will catch up with him, and we need to be ready when that happens. So I would more focus on the right back position and maybe the right wing position, because unless we sell Sanchez, we've got a big problem there.
Thank you very much for calling in. Really good points, and please do call in again.
Love your show, Mark. Really love your show, and yeah, I'm glad that DT took another L, yeah?
Yeah. All right, mate. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, we'll take another call in a minute. I just want to have a quick interaction with the live comments. Please do drop a like on the video if you are watching. We got the Discord show back. Remember, the link is in the video Discord. You have to be invited to join the United Stand server on Discord. But the way it works is I'll show you towards... Actually, I probably need to show you more on a show in itself. But basically... link in the video description, get yourself on there, play around with it, but that's how you do it. People who are trying to call in, you've got to get yourself into the call queues. You don't just call me on Discord, you've got to get yourself in the call queues, which are on the left hand side down the bottom. Just get yourself in one, and that's how I pull them through. Bay's good, but still needs Koulibaly to shift a load of deadwood and Sanchez to save massive wages and get a new DM, says Patrick O'Connor. I think CDM is probably the most important position. Nicholas P, other than the obvious investment, we need to build a club structure. Then we need a plan to win the title by a hungry, single-minded manager. The more Poch fails, the hungrier he might get. Look, you know what? I said this before Mourinho got the sack, and I will say it now. Ollie's the manager, and I will say it whoever the manager is in June. We are not winning the title next year. It's not impossible, but we should not, by any means, have it as a requirement. It should not be expected of Ollie if he's the manager. It should not be expected of Pochettino if he's the manager, or whoever the manager is. We should not be thinking we're winning the title next year. Mourinho came in and we were like, oh, he always wins the title in the first 2 years. He's one of the best football managers there has ever been. We're going to win the title. And we set the expectations too high. One, he was a manager on the decline. Look at what he did at Chelsea. And two, this club needs, and Mourinho is right, he said the next job I go to, I want to know what the structure real plan is, because he didn't get the investment he thought he was going to get. He was never going to be good enough anyway, but he is right about the investment, and that's why whoever our new manager is, and that's why I'm a little bit disappointed with this transfer window, because there's too much that needs to be done in the summer. You cannot do 10 deals in a summer, and I will eat my shoes if we do. We need to do 10 deals in the summer to even have a chance of being in a title race, because you've got to get rid of Fellaini, you've got to get rid of Phil Jones, you've got to get rid of Darmian, you've got to get rid of Valencia, and probably maybe Young, or maybe a Mata or someone else. So that's 5 players you've got to move on, okay? And that's without trying to keep people like Pereira, who may want to go, and get Martial and De Gea on new contracts, and maybe Pogba. So you're up to nearly 10 deals then, and you've not bought anybody. You've then got to get maybe a right back or a centre back, a CDM, a right midfielder. I would say a decent backup striker if Lukaku goes. Maybe you want to back up left back. It's like, you're into double figures for deals. We're never doing double figures for deals in the summer. It's never going to happen. So whatever happens, we're going to start next season with whoever the manager is not having done all the work that needed to be done, because there's a massive amount of work. And that's for me. I think next season, I'm excited about it, but I'm certainly not expecting a title. I think the minute we sacked Mourinho, we were probably in the worst position we've ever been since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. So we cannot realistically expect to be title contenders in the space of 6 months. I mean, I don't want to compare us to Liverpool, but Klopp came into Liverpool how many years ago? And it's only really this season that they're fighting for a title. And he's been changing things drastically between that time. So we're going to have to be patient. What about Twansibi next season, says the initial topic. Thanks for the contribution. I think that, at the moment, Twansibi's looking very good for Villa, although he is injured. And I would like to see him coming back. And Darren Miller says that we are the biggest club in the world, but we are the tightest as well. We are. We've got a board who I like a lot of the things our board do, like sacking Mourinho, but honestly, we've got a board who's got as tighter than a camel's arse in a sandstorm. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They are tight. They don't want to spend money because ultimately, you know what? I get tired of this as well. A little bit of a personal rant here. I get tired of this because on Twitter, every now and again, somebody will say, oh, United Stand or Goldbridge, they're an embarrassment to my club. And I reply, and sometimes if I can direct message them, I'll direct message them because I'm not really an antagonistic person unless somebody's personal. And I'll say, look, you know your message there about the United Stand being an embarrassment to your club. One, it ain't your club, it's everybody's club who supports it. Two, the United Stand is an independent fan channel that gives everybody a voice, no matter where they live in the world. We're not about top reds or whatever. It's about fan opinion. And three, don't ever tell any fan that they're an embarrassment to your club, because it's not your club. And you know who owns our club? It's not your club. You know whose club it is? It's the Glazers. And you can hate it and you can say, oh, the soul of the club is really the fans. Bollocks. I wish it was. I really do wish it was. But when you say that a fan is an embarrassment to your club, can I just be blunt here? It's not your club. It's owned by the Glazers. And you can suck on that because it's the truth. And whether you like it or not, it is owned by the Glazers. And the Glazers are not Manchester United fans. They are people who bought our club on debt and want to make money out of our club. So when people say it's not your club, no, it isn't my club, but it ain't bloody your club. It's the Glazers club. So when people say, why are we tight and everything like that, and I'm not digging the Glazers out here. I've always said, it's nothing personal. I know some people get vile about the Glazers. Nothing like that. It's not the ideal ownership for a club of our stature, of our size, of our history. We've got people who own our club who don't support our club. They just bought it from a business model, which I totally understand, and they want to make money out of it. It's their club. That's it. If you go and check on Company's House, the Glazers own Manchester United. And that is why we will always be a club, while we're owned by them, who never spends as much as we should do because they want to make profit. And that profit goes out of our club to other businesses owned by the Glazers to service other debts. You know, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And that's, you know, that's why it makes me laugh when people try to get all arrogant about who owns the club and that. But let's take another caller. See if we can get somebody. I'm trying to see who's got their mute off. Okay, I know Pankaj wanted to come on. Let's see if we can get him. Pankaj, can you hear me? You need to unmute if you can. No, he's bottled it. He's pulled himself out. I was told to let him come on. He pulled himself out. Hello, can you hear me? You're live on the United Stand.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing, pal? You right?
Yeah, I'm okay. You?
I'm very good, thank you. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I just want to talk about how many players we truly are away from a title.
Great, okay.
Because people talk about the first team, but that's not even without the reserves needed in case any of them get injured.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all good having Rashford, Lingard, and Martial, but if they get injured, we've got Lukaku and Sanchez, and that could be out. That could be months.
I'm certainly worried. I don't know about you, but I'm certainly worried when I look at what's happening with Arsenal and Spurs. And I just think if Pogba got injured, have we got the depth in the midfield? We talk about getting a CDM and we talk about getting a right back, but have we got the quality? If Pogba got injured next season, maybe for 6 months, who are you going to play in that position? I mean, you're right. We do need squad depth, and I just wouldn't. How much? Let me ask a question then. How much do you think this club needs to get to be a Premier League title winning side? What changes would you make, and do you think it needs a lot?
Probably about 400 million. I think we need another midfielder because I don't think Fred's going to work. And Pereira's going to probably go. We need to replace Matic. We need probably an experienced right back to help Delo, who isn't 34. And then we probably need another backup striker to go along with Rashford.
You know what? I think you're absolutely right, and I think this level of realism is sort of what David De Gea is saying in many ways. Is that we're very satisfied with our recent form, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. And I think the question to United fans and the pressure on the board is, I personally don't think, and I don't know what you think, I just don't think that this squad that we have at the moment, whilst it's got some real good players in it, it's nowhere near challenging the likes of Man City.
Yeah, this is what worries me. I don't think the Glazers will put in any money all the time we're able to get top four. So if we get top four this season, I think very little money will be spent next season because they're happy with top four.
Yeah, well, this is the whole. This is something we can't answer, and maybe it goes back to what I was just saying there about the Glazers. They're not United fans. They own our club, and they're about making money. And maybe, like you say, they will just be happy as long as we are getting top four. I mean, you look at the 2 summers where we've spent the most money. That's when we've been in the Europa League. There was one with Van Gaal. There was Mourinho's first summer when we bought Pogba. And we were in the Europa League, and it was about getting back in the Champions League. And we're going to find out this summer, because I agree with you. There's a lot of money that needs to be spent. There's a lot of ins and outs that need to be done. And we'll find out in the summer just how interested this club is. But having said that, last season we finished second. We were 20 points behind Man City, and they only spent about 50 million.
Yeah. Also, though, I think a manager like Mourinho and Louis van Gaal, I think they would ask for money. I think Oli would be happy with the job and would be happy with what he's got because he's happy to be the United manager, and I don't think he would keep on for more and more money. Just very quickly on that, you sort of moved me into it. Would you take Oli as the manager now, or are you still maybe looking at somebody else? Or would you just wait till next? I just think we can wait because he's not going anywhere at the moment. He's down to a contract anyway till the end of the season. So I just think wait and see what happens.
Certainly. And just finally, are you happy with the Chelsea draw, or would you have preferred something else?
I'm happy with the Chelsea draw. It's a real challenge, and we can actually see where we are compared to Chelsea, because under Mourinho we almost won against them.
Yes, you're right. Well, we should have won. You're right. Fantastic call, mate. Please do call in again. I really enjoyed it.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks, pal. I've also got absolute envy. Food envy when you get your lunchbox out and someone's got a better food than you, or maybe girlfriend or boyfriend envy when they've got a better looking boyfriend or girlfriend than you. I've got bath envy. I reckon he was in the bath. I've got real envy. I wish I was in a bath now. Some nice bubbles, nice and hot. Lathering myself with a loafer, relaxing. Bath time. I love it. You can't beat it. Bath time. Anyway, Mike Ritson says, Mark, give youth a chance. All we are saying is give youth a chance. We have real quality coming through with Gomez, Mason, Greenwood and Chong. We only need to buy a centre-back and a CDM, in my opinion. I agree with that, Mike. But I tell you what, I think it's a cracking point, and I'll put it to the live comments. Give youth a chance. But do you know what giving youth a chance is? Are you patient enough to give youth a chance, is what I would say. Because if he plays Greenwood, Chong, Garner, whoever else you want to say, Gomez, we ain't winning a title next year. We might not win a title for 2 years. And I know people are saying, well, we won the title with the class of 92. That was a very, very different scenario for two reasons, really. One, that selection, that group had unbelievable chemistry together. They were basically half a team coming through together, and they were very, very talented. Scholes was world class. Giggs was obviously already part of the team, but was world class. Beckham, world class. Gary Neville was one of the best right backs we've ever had, and then you've got people like Butt and Neville who were just very, very reliable. I don't think this set of youth players are anywhere near the class of 92. That's one thing, and the other thing is that youth team came into Cantona, Keane, Schmeichel. Three of the biggest legends we've ever had, and three of the biggest leaders we've ever had. So we don't have that level of player for them to come into at the moment. So I agree with the youth, but it can't just be all youth. I still think we've got to spend money, and whatever happens, I think we've got to be patient. Of course, I do. Should we play Sanchez as a striker and Rashford on the right? Says MD Anas. Not for me. I really don't think so. VK Dean says 400,000 subscribers do a bath show. If we get 400,000 subscribers, I'm happy to do a show from the bath. That's absolutely fine by me. I can have a soak. Love it. Do you read all super chats, Mark? Says Mary Conlon. Yes, I do. I know there's a couple that have gone through, but I always summarise them at the end. And think about the chance Rashford got and performed, and look at him now, says Forever United. Yeah, but let's be honest. Rashford is a good example because he is a work in progress, isn't he? Yes, he burst on the scene. He scored some goals, but how many years ago was that? That was Van Gaal's last season, wasn't it? So we're 3 years on, and we're only just getting the best of Rashford. Now, to be honest with you, it shouldn't have taken 3 years. It should have took about 1.5 years, because I firmly believe that Rashford and Martial have probably lost 1.5 years of their career development-wise, because they weren't developed under Mourinho, and now they will be under Ole. So, but you've still got to be patient. Of course, you've got to be patient, 100%. Okay, let's take another caller. We've got loads of people in the queue, which is good to see, and I'm going to pull somebody in right now. Let me see who I can see. Just want to see somebody who's actually waiting. Okay, I might be able to do you. Okay. Alec, can you hear me? Hello? You're live on the United Stand. Can you hear me? No. Okay, we'll try somebody else. That's not a problem. Knee problem there. We'll try somebody else, so we will. Let's try this person. Hello, can you hear me? You're live on the United Stand.
Oh, hi, Mark.
How you doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
I'm very good, thank you. Is there anything you wanted to talk about, pal?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this transfer window.
Okay.
I feel like we've really let it slip. I feel like people are forgetting that we have a lot of things to do in summer. You have to buy a new manager potentially, whether it's Poch or Oli. Poch maybe costing 40 million, 50 million. And then we have to get a director of football also. And then I don't know how United is run, so I don't know if the director of football and the manager comes under our transfer budget for players as well. So last time I think our budget was around 200 million or something. We'd even spend up to that. And if we already have to spend 40 million on Poch and then another maybe 20 million, 30 million on the director of football, that's already 60, 70 million gone already from our transfer budget, leaving 100 and something million for players And if you want to get Koulibaly, who's already 100 million, that's more or less our transfer budget gone.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because that could be, we talk about we need to do loads of business, but I pretty much remember last summer we were all saying that, and we didn't do a lot of business. We didn't get rid of many players, and we didn't bring many in. And I think we're in the land of unknown. Just on the manager, where do you sit on that at the moment? Do you think Pochettino's off the record now? I mean, a lot of fans today are saying they don't want him, or are you just, let's see where we are in May?
I don't think he's off the records because Pochettino is a very good manager. Consistently got more or less top four the past 4 seasons. But I would say like for now we should wait until summer to see how Oli is doing, because I would really love Oli to be the manager next season. But as you said before, like football changes. We could go on a losing streak, but you actually never know.
You know what? That's probably subconsciously one of the reasons I'm really happy we've got Chelsea, because we've had some really good results. We've won 8 in a row. I think we'll win 9 because I think we'll beat Burnley tomorrow. But in March, I know for a fact now we've got PSG, Chelsea, Liverpool, and PSG again. Fixtures. Yeah, so there's nowhere to hide in that. And if we lost those 3 games, I think and we lost them badly, people would be like, well, we've just got knocked out by Chelsea, PSG have humiliated us, and we lost at Old Trafford to Liverpool, who are probably going to win the league. And I think people's opinion would be very different. And that's why, as you're saying there, we just got to see where we are in May. And if Oli comes through those tests, great. Which is why I didn't want Doncaster in the Cup. I want Chelsea because I want to see what we're all about.
The only thing about that is that I really wanted to see some youth being played in the FA Cup the next round, but I don't know if he will play youth against Chelsea because obviously it's a very tough game. I'm expecting him to put out his strongest team, but you just never know.
No, you never know. Just quickly on that. I mean, we were speaking about this. I think on the first caller, he was saying that he would look to move Lukaku, Sanchez, and Mata on. Doesn't really see how they're going to fit in because Sanchez is the best played player in the league, but he's not a first teamer. Yeah. Lukaku, again, similar thing, and Mata, similar thing. And it's like they're holding back people like Mason Greenwood getting a chance. I think it's very easy for us to say let's get rid of Darmian and Fellaini, but that level of player, would you be giving up on them, or do you think there is a future for them at United?
Lukaku definitely not. I don't know if he can improve. He's 26 or 25, however old he is. I don't really see him getting a first touch anytime soon. Sanchez, I will give him to the end of the season. If he doesn't majorly improve, I'll say ship him off because he's the best paid player on our club and he's on the bench. So I don't see that working out next season. Mata, I would say I would definitely move him on. As you were saying earlier, we bought him as a number 10, but we've never played him in that position. We played him out on the right, and I don't see him working on Oli's system where all about the fast counter-attacking football and breaking on the counter-attack. I don't see Mata being able to keep up with the likes of Rashford, Martial. Mata will literally slow down the attack, so I would say we should ship him out. He's been a great servant to the club and all, but I would say ship him out, to be honest.
And just finally, I just want to ask this question as a personal thing, really, because it's not something we've spoke about for a while. There was a poll I saw last week on Twitter where United fans were voting on who should be the United captain, and I think it was a very even split between Pogba, De Gea and Herrera. Obviously, Ashley Young's got the captain's armband at the moment. Who would you have as Manchester United captain?
It's a very difficult question. Yeah, that's a very difficult question. For me right now, I would say I would give it to Herrera because I feel like he slightly is a United player through and through. If you saw his comments the other day, he said that he's got to continue playing how he's playing, and if he deserves a new contract, the contract will come. That's the type of players we need at this club. I also say De Gea is in a close running because, as you were saying with his comments earlier today, that he knows the type of kind of the ambition for the club where it should be at. He knows that we should be out there winning trophies. He knows that we should be winning things, to be honest. So I think it'll be out of them two. Pogba is a good candidate also, but I feel like certain stuff that he does will not, obviously our fan base is a very big fan base, so a lot of people don't like him already. So I'll say Pogba, I would miss out on him with the captaincy just because of that reason.
Brilliant call, mate. I really, really enjoyed it. So please do call in again.
No problem. Thank you very much, Mark.
Cheers, pal. Thanks to everyone who has called in tonight, actually, and everyone in the live comments. Please do drop a like on the video and support our callers. I think we've had international callers tonight, we've had local callers as well, but that's what the United fan base is all around. And I've said it so many times. Please do respect the community, because we are a United community on the United stand, and every voice does matter. Right, a lot of people saying that. Some people are saying that I rigged the FA Cup draw. Look, maybe the FA looked at the Arsenal game and went, wow, Goldbridge owned Arsenal. Absolutely owned them. We need a big draw on the BBC again. Let's get the Chelsea ones down. Because I will go down to Stamford Bridge and we'll link in with whatever fan channel they've got. I don't know. I've never heard of them. They're obviously small fry. We'll give them a bit of publicity, and we'll go for it, and we'll go down there confident. Of course, I'm very excited about it. I mean, look, we've had a great Christmas since Ollie's been in. We've had a fantastic start to the year, because January can be a bit miserable, but as United fans, it's been absolutely brilliant. And we're going to have a scintillating, fantastic February, aren't we? We are. I mean, bloody hell, we've got PSG, we've got Liverpool, we've got bloody Chelsea and Cup. It's going to be something else. I'm really, really, really excited about it. So bring it on, I say, and let's have it. Let's certainly have it and see what's going to happen, because I think that United, and it goes back to what we were saying in that call as well, that we don't have to have. There's a lot of people who want Ollie to be the manager now. I do right now, but in a month's time, if we did get smashed 6-0 at home by Liverpool and he got played off the park by Klopp, would you still want him? It's easy to say yes now, because I think I'd go, well, I still would, but things can change in a month. And if we give him a 5-year contract now and then in a month's time it all falls apart, honeymoon period's over. As I've said before, we almost do need to lose our first game to see what the response is like, because it's not unusual for there to be a honeymoon period. That's why they call it a honeymoon period. Because when you get married and you go on your honeymoon, your partner does things to you that they won't do for you in 10 years' time, because they become boring. And I'm not doing that anymore. Now we're married. So, we've got to go through that period at some point. But we don't have to appoint a manager till May. Kaylan Orr says, ever do collabs or talk about games with other United channels? I really enjoy them, but I can understand if there is bad blood between you. That's an interesting point. Look, we've always been open to collaborations on the United stand. Our door's always open, so that's what I would say about that. John Joe Evans says, thought on Greenwood as a player. He's an incredible talent. You've just answered your own question. He is an incredible talent, and as Ollie said, at the moment he can't get him in the team because he's got Lukaku, Sanchez and Mata, who are not in the team, who he's got to find game time for, so he's got to wait his chance. John Joe Evans, you watched the 18s, Mark. Thoughts on Greenwood as a player? Yep, absolutely fantastic. Murray Conlon says, groundwork on new manager is ongoing now, not Ollie. Well, I think for the moment it shouldn't be Ollie yet. We've got to keep looking at it. Sharath Math Fitness, what do you think of Kenny Lala for right back? I don't know a lot about him, mate, to be honest. I don't profess to know everything about everybody. I don't know a lot about him, to be honest with you. We've done Twan Sebi, Lockie MUFC 92. Herrera can Mark Hazard out of the game again. Also, what do you think of selling Alexi and subbing part of his wages to help get rid and free up funds? I think we've got to give Sanchez, and we'll give Sanchez till May. And if there's no big improvement, you've got to get rid of him. Maxi Divine says, we want to be a marathon winner rather than just a 100-metre sprinter. Yep, and maybe this is what we're going to find out about Ollie. Is this just a short sprint and it's going to stop soon, or are we marathon runners now and we can keep it going till May? It's going to be very exciting to see. Ricky916 says, hey Mark, if you can choose one player from the 92 team and put on this team, who would it be and why? 92, God. Are you talking about class of 92? Because we have spoken about that tonight. So the one player from the class of 92 team for me, it'd have to be Scholes, wouldn't it? It would have to be Scholes. I think Scholes alongside Pogba with a good CDM behind him would be brilliant. So I think I'd go Scholes, to be honest. Thanks for the contribution, Russell Solomon. Golden Boot means nothing. Hazard was one trophy, says United Focus. As a Chelsea, we've read that. Got to be worried, Mark hasn't read that. Even without Neymar, we will beat them. They have no midfield, says Ari Guadalia. And historically, not a good ground for us, Mark, says John Joe Evans about Stamford Bridge Chelsea. The Emirates, they haven't lost at the Emirates since Man City. So I'm not bothered. It's a game of football. It's 90 minutes. And I've seen Chelsea quite a lot recently. And I'm not impressed by Chelsea. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it. I'm not saying they can't beat us. Of course they can. But there's a difference between, like, Arsenal could have beat us. I said it to Robbie, didn't I? I called, bloody Lacazette the French Charlie Austin because I think he is the French Charlie Austin. But I did say that could come back and bite me because we are playing away from home. And there's an advantage for Chelsea. But I think United will be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm looking forward to it. And I think that is absolutely what it's all about. Zaha will never come back to Manchester United. Never in a million years. He's spoken quite negatively about us since he left because of how he was treated. So he won't come back. Mark Westerman. And Higuain is a flop in his first game. He looked dreadful. Missing chances. So Sapal. I still think he'll probably be better than Morata. I presume he can play against us, actually. I presume he can. Karan Banzai says, board only wants top 4. Guess who's good at getting top 4 on low budgets? Pochettino. No wonder our board would love him. Ollie wants to win everything. I do think, and I've heard it unofficially and through people who think they know things about United. I've heard that Woodward wants Pochettino. Now, whether that can change or not, I don't know. But what I do know is that Woodward is a very opinionated guy. And he tends to get what he wants. So will be interesting to see what happens with that. Because I don't know how it will go down. I do not know. Anyway, I just want to just show people the Discord, as you can see, just so people can see how it works. So if you go through the invite link, now if I go in here, that's not where I want to be. Okay, so if you're on, let's see if this is working. So Discord, just how it works. When you go into it, I remember when I first went into it, I was like, this is very, very confusing, but it's actually very, very simple. So when you're in Discord, there's a link in the video description. You can only get in the United Stand Discord server by going through the link in the video description because it's an invite. You've got to be invited. Now, when you're in, you will see things here on the left-hand side. That's what it's all about. You've got your welcome, your announcements, and then you've got your general chat. So people will chat in here. It's typing. So hello, everyone. I actually said hello everyone, which is not what I meant. I meant hello. I meant help. I didn't mean that either. Hello. There we go. I don't really want to chat to anyone. I didn't expect someone to write. So you've got your general chats there where people would just chat away, and that's all typing, okay? If you go down a little bit further, you've got rival chats, you've got bets, you've got PlayStation gaming. Okay. If you want to be involved in the call-ins, you've got your voice channels, right? Voice channels. Now, there's my live show. You can't go in there. I pull people in there. So if you want to be on a live show, you just put yourself in one of the call-in queues. You've got call-in 1, you've got call-in 2, you've got call-in 3, and that's how it works, okay? So you go into there and you wait and you'll get pulled in. Now, the great thing as well is when we're not live, you've got United voice chat groups like United Voice 2, which I've gone into there. Somebody will probably come in now because they've seen me go in. That wasn't my intention. And what happens in those is that this Discord server, as with the group chats, it's always open. So you can go into these voice groups and just chat with United fans all around the world. So it's 24/7, it's open. You can go into those voice chats and just talk to people all around the world, and that tends to happen. But when we're live on a Monday, you just got to get yourself in the call-in queues, make sure you're unmuted and you've got your voice connected like me there, and away you go. It's that simple. So that's your little tour of it there. I hope that makes sense.
I hope you guys enjoyed the...
So I've just come out there because somebody was going to talk. But yeah, just have a go at it. That's how it works. Link in the video description. Skype got a big update, says Jet. I hate the Skype update. I hate Skype. It's shit. Absolutely shit. Discord's good. Anyway, please do drop a like on the video. We've nearly had 1,000 likes. It's been a fantastic call. It's been nice to take some of your calls. I think we've discussed some really good things, and I'm very happy with the Chelsea draw. I know some of you aren't. I'm very happy with what David De Gea has come out and said. I would give him a high five if I could. I think it's brilliant what he said. Yes, we're on a good run, but we're not satisfied with where we are. We need to do better, and I think that involves recruitment and moving on of players, and I think that's what he's hinting at if he's going to sign a new contract, and that's a big thumbs up from me. And obviously we've spoken about how far away we are from being a title winning side, because I still think, as well as we're doing, we're miles away from a title winning side, and we do need major investment and major restructuring over the summer. And I don't think there should be an expectation that we're going going to fight for the title next year, because I think the structuring of Manchester City and Liverpool is way ahead of what ours is at the moment, and that's what we've got to try and do. You can't elastoplast the problems at United. There are major cracks. We need to fill it, and we need to do that with proper foundation, not an elastoplast, not a sticker, not a plaster. That's how I feel anyway. Anyway, tomorrow we're playing Burnley. It's quick, isn't it? So we'll be live tomorrow night at, I think it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. So we'll be live at 7 o'clock with the team news right the way through till full time with the watch along. Join us for that. It's not on in the UK, so we'll have Jared and me will be doing it. So looking forward to that. And we've got Flex and Rants coming up tomorrow lunchtime as well. So loads and loads of content on the United Stand as usual. I just want to give you all a big shout out. This channel is your channel. It always has been and it always will be. So it's great when we do these shows, the fan cams, the interaction, the comments below. Really appreciate it, and a big shout out to all you lot. Let's not be afraid. Let's embrace these tough games in February, because we can beat these teams. We believe we can, and we need to be tested. If you want Ollie as manager, you need to have the big tests, and that's what we've got coming ahead. So make sure you subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner, and drop a like on video, and I shall see you tomorrow for Manchester United versus Burnley, the shittest team in the Premier League, Burnley, I think, and I think we'll beat them, which will make it 9 from 9. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you soon. Good show that, wasn't it? Oh, I liked it.